Yo, what is up, motherfuckers? Welcome to this amazing video on this amazing channel on this even more amazing platform. Uh, I'm the co-host here, but me and Marcy are gonna be talking about the Carmelo Anthony case. Bro got, I believe, 35 years. Bro was found guilty, so I'll hand it
Yep.
off to Marcy since he's got the most to say about this.
Thank you. Right. So, of course, we're talking about the case where Anthony murdered Metcalf. And yes, he murdered him. No, he didn't. It wasn't manslaughter. It wasn't self defense. For it to be self defense, it would have to be something that was actually an understandable response to his life being threatened. But here's the problem: if I were to push someone 3 feet, they're not going to die. If I push you onto the ground, you're not going to die. So, where is your life being threatened? It's obviously not, right? So, him being pushed didn't justify him stabbing Austin in the chest, which is something that a lot of people have been able to understand. But unfortunately, there are a good portion of the black community still defending this jackass who has literally even admitted to murdering him on site of the crime. Like, when he was approached by the cops during the site of the crime, do we not remember that he literally said, "It's not alleged, I stabbed him"? Like, are we serious? Like, are we genuinely serious here? But what's also really important is a couple of the major defenses of Anthony here has to do with a bunch of nonsense we've been hearing from people who haven't even fucking seen the video, people who have seen the video that are just making up shit here. Because you have people talking about Austin got jumped. Oh, the video proves he got jumped. Oh, Austin had like 6 dudes with him and jumped the fuck out of Karmello, the innocent, short, brittle black boy who was doing nothing but talking to his friends. And I forgot what the other one was. It was something just as stupid. But of course, you have the fact that one, Austin was not with anybody else but his brother, and his brother didn't really enter the confrontation. He was kind of just on the sideline. But that doesn't change anything because it was a one-on-one either way. And all Austin had actually done was push him. And guess what, Karmello does? Karmello, before he even got pushed, he literally began to instigate a confrontation, which, by the way, we are literally told by a witness who is confirmed to be his homeboy that he came there with the idea of rage baiting people. Of course, he didn't say rage. He said he was trying to cause problems. He was trying to insult the other team, which classifies as rage bait. He was trying to bait them into getting angry.
Who, at like the same time, bro, who brings a fucking knife of all things to a track meet, bro? Like,
That's a very good point. Because who the fuck actually does do that? Of course, a bit of a self-report, but in my school as a kid, a few people would bring knives, but that's usually just to like look cool in front of other kids. You want to know what they didn't do when they had
wouldn't they
to
just be
fucking
like
box?
utility knives as well?
Some of them were. But the thing I want to mention as to why I even mentioned that is because all of those boys I mentioned, like the boys that actually would bring knives to school, none of them niggas would even use them bitches in class, like, or in school to like fight people. They would box with their own hands. They weren't a fucking coward who instigates a fight and then stabs somebody after they actually react to the bait. Like, none of them would actually do some shit like that because they're not fucking stupid and they're not a jackass who thinks that they can just take a life and then get away with it by claiming self-defense, which is exactly what Karmello did. He basically thought it was a fucking cheat code. Like, oh, I'm gonna go to the enemy team, I'm gonna rage bait, I'm gonna bring my knife, and I'm gonna stab one of them. It turns out he stabs the team later. Like, it's kind of like, I'm not gonna say it's premeditated, but to be fair, he did bring a knife to a track meet and went to a tent. According to his coach, he wasn't supposed to fucking be there. He was not supposed to fucking be there at all. He was supposed to be on the track warming up, but no, he wants to go to the enemy team's fucking tent to fucking rage bait. And guess what he does? He does rage bait. Some people don't want him there, but apparently didn't do anything until Austin comes in and tells him to leave. The nigga don't want to leave. Then he says, touch me, see what happens. Puts his hand in his fucking backpack. Austin gives him a little push, and then Anthony stabs the shit out of him. And it's unfortunate. I feel like I'm repeating myself, which I kind of am. But it's because I kind of have to hammer this nail into the wall for people to understand that this nigga is not fucking innocent. This is not self-defense. This is not manslaughter. It's fucking murder. Cold-hearted murder.
You know how bad this looks on the black community as a whole when you got black people themselves coming out talking about like, oh, he did nothing wrong. That white kid deserved to die. This motherfucker is just defending himself.
Yeah, a lot of I even saw like a couple of videos that were
them out basically.
Yeah, they did. That's true. I saw a couple of videos, unfortunately, that were making fun of Austin, saying, "Oh, he deserved to die." All this shit. Like I literally saw videos that were saying that. And I have a video I'm gonna pull up on screen right now of a resident black man a TikTok one, a resident black man of Alabama, which is what I'm guessing where he lives, but I don't really care where he lives. I don't give a fuck where he lives, honestly. A resident black man doing, guess what? Making fun of Austin in one of the worst ways possible. Talking about the Austin challenge. Like, I'll play a few seconds.
So look, bro. I feel like we should propose a new challenge in honor of the Karmello and Austin Metcalf case going the way it did. Because as y'all know, these people mimic everything we do. So let's see if they mimic this too. I call this one Do the Austin Challenge. What you do, you come outside and you stand in the sun for 3-4 hours with no sunblock, right? And then you plant your feet in the grass, bare feet. You grab your throat and you fall to the ground. And then you start gasping for air and shaking. Like that.
Sorry I had to make you watch that shit. It's fucking horrible.
So good.
Thank you. Because you will see that and think this nigga's a dickhead. And you would be right. He is a dickhead. Because in his own comments, I went to his comments and I literally do see him basically defending his actual action here. And then he makes a comment. What?
Is everybody agreeing with him or is he getting destroyed?
It's like mixed. Some people it's kind of like a 60-40, 70-60, 70-40, 70-30 of people insulting him, agreeing with him, or making racial comments. It's like a bunch of them. And I'm going to say it now, I don't think we should be being racist here. I think we should be understanding and just simply come to the conclusion that he's not innocent. But of course, some people just want to argue all day. Some people don't want to come to a conclusion that actually makes some sense. And some people want to defend the family of Karmello, who are defending their son, who is a, murderer. And I'm not going to get mad at the family, of course, that is their son. I would understand a family to defend their son. But what I don't get is why so many people are choosing to not only insult Austin, but also to make fun of the father and his brother and his mother. And I have to think that y'all also have parents. Y'all also have siblings. So why the fuck are we acting so heartless towards people? This man has just lost his son. That brother has just lost his brother. That mother has just lost her son. Why are we making jokes about it? Why are we being hateful towards them as if they did anything? Their son barely did anything wrong in that scenario. All he did was push a nigga. Like, of course, he shouldn't have put his hands on Karmello. That is a true fact. That is a true statement. That's not a wrong thing to say. But of course, this does not excuse Karmello literally stabbing him. Because that is an overexertion of power within apparent self-defense, which it obviously isn't, because a response to a shove is not something like a stab. It would be something like a shove back or a punch or maybe a kick. It doesn't really change. It doesn't matter if he's like, if he said, oh, but then it would have been like a fight. Who cares? Because at most, if they had just, it would have been better, yes. Because if they had just simply fought, no one would have given a fuck. I promise you, no one would give a shit about two dudes at a track meet boxing. They would just think that some people would probably try and make it into a race thing. And then because nobody died, it would all blow over because there's nothing to make drama about. But unfortunately, this is not going the civilized route. It goes the route of a boy thinking he can get away with something. And I want to say this right now. I don't care that he is a boy. He could be 15 for all I care, and I still would not give a shit. Because they're both the same age. So regardless of the fact, right, he still stabbed him. He still brought that knife to the track meet and went to the enemy team's tent with the intent to bait somebody, to rage bait them and get them mad, which he obviously would know that would have solicited a reaction of maybe physical contact, and maybe that's why he had a knife on him. But I'm not really gonna say that, oh, it's premeditated, because I don't think it really was. I think he was just a dickhead, is what I'm saying. But he's still a murderer and deserves to go to prison. Honestly, him getting 35 to life is less than what I thought he would have gotten. I thought he would have gotten more, maybe 99, or maybe just life in prison in general. Funnily enough, something, actually, it's not really funny, because it is pretty nasty. But there's a video, of course, of a certain person defending Karmello, and some people have used him as a source, I believe, or have pointed out that he defends him, that this is a good thing. I would like to point out that Willis D, or Willie D, a YouTuber, or whatever his name is, I don't really give a shit, is a fucking sex offender. By Florida law, he is a sex offender and a predator. And that, you know, I just kind of have to point that out there. Because we can't really be taking in the defense of a person that shouldn't even be talking about people when this is literally him. A fucking sex offender.
You got skinnier EDP out here defending.
Basically, yeah. And it's like some people who like this happens to, that this is their life, that this is what they are. A lot of them like to then try and take videos down because they think it's defamation. But I can Google this up. I Googled this. This is on the FDLA. The Florida Department of Law Enforcement has publicly fucking posted this. This is public. You can Google this your fucking self. So if someone tries to take my video down because I put up a actual picture of somebody who is a fucking confirmed pedophile and sex offender, you can eat my ass, because fuck you for defending a sex offender and a sexual predator. Now, back onto what we were talking about earlier about the Karmello case. Something that some people have, for some odd reason, brought up is I believe it was the Rick Chow scenario, where Cyrus unfortunately was gunned down at I think it was a parking lot, which he was after he had gotten chased down by Rick Chow and his son. And I feel like some people don't realize that this is like the same type of scenario. The only difference is that the bad side actually won this time. because, at least with Karmello, he went to jail. He's going for 35 years, of course, and they can apparently appeal, which I don't think they should be able to. But, the law says they can, so they can. And that's not my decision to make. But with Rick Chow, something that was interesting about it is that it's a clear-cut case. This nigga's guilty. He just genuinely chased a black boy down, thinking he stole a bottle, and then just shot him after his son said he had a gun. And the son has a lot of inconsistencies to his statements within the court, which I'm very surprised that the jury did not notice how ridiculous his shit was, and how this whole thing is kind of clear cut. It doesn't seem like it should have been a not guilty. It should have been a guilty. But unfortunately, it was a non-guilty. And something that a lot of people have started to do, specifically black people, unfortunately, is that they have began to then prank call Chinese restaurants and also businesses. One of them, with the restaurants, is ordering a fuck ton of food and then not going to pick it up. Basically making them waste all of their food and money. And that food could have gone to somebody who actually wanted to eat it. Or you could have taken the food, paid for it, and then given it to the homeless. Support the black homeless people, since you love black people so much. But no, you're just gonna waste niggas' time. You're wasting your time as well, because what are you doing? Fucking nothing. What does you prank calling a bunch of Asian businesses fucking do to get Cyrus justice? You're just harassing random Asian people, and you're trying to use Cyrus's death as an excuse to do so. You don't actually give a fuck. You just want to use someone's life as an excuse to be an asshole. And that is honestly what this entire thing is all about. Both the Karmello case and the Cyrus case are, well, like the Black Rick Chow case, actually. It's all just niggas who want to be assholes, finally getting a chance of being an asshole, and then using a lie to then defend somebody. But of course, not a lie for Rick Chow. This nigga's just a fucking monster. Of course, there is the fact that they brought up that Cyrus had a gun, though it's not necessarily provable he did have a gun on him. But I'm not really gonna waste my time talking about Cyrus, though, because Cyrus is innocent, and his death is obviously something that has unfortunately befallen the black community. But fortunately, another tragedy is stopped, and Karmello is not allowed to get away with a crime, which I'm kind of saying this because it sounds like I'm trying to defend the black community PR game here, but it's already in the shitter. The amount of black people who had been defending Karmello, making up shit, has been pretty insane. Fortunately, some people are not completely blind. I have pointed out that this much defense for somebody who is comfortably the most guiltiest nigga I have ever seen is very nice to see that people are actually seeing that he's just fucking guilty as shit. And they're not still defending it. Of course, you do have your delusional morons who do defend this nigga still. And that type of shit will continue to be a thing until our communities can come together and be normal and not be complete assholes who make fun of people who have died, all because we don't like a race, or because we want to be an asshole that day, or because they killed somebody from our side. Like that whole thing where a guy even went on to online saying that, oh, I admitted I was going to be biased and then they didn't let me in. Like, did you think that they were going to let you be on jury duty after you just admitted to being biased? Like, think about that right now. The whole point of the jury is that you're not supposed to be biased. And you admitted to being a biased. And also you were a dickhead as well. So why would they let you in? Like think about that. Think about that. You have that person, that black guy, who said, "Oh, I could never imagine putting a brother in jail." Why the fuck would they accept him? Like think about that shit. Who the fuck is gonna let that guy in the jury duty? Into jury duty? Like, why would they even accept him? Like, if y'all are gonna complain about thinking that all the white people are biased because you guys have seen a few white people be biased, by the logic you want to go off of, we can do the exact same to our own people. Like, it doesn't get any more clear than that. One last thing I also wanted to kind of mention. I have heard of some news specifically about the court case for the Cyrus and Zach and Rick trial. About how there were 5 out of the 12 people that went to jury for that case. 5 of them were black, 5 were white, and 2 are undisclosed. So I'd like to point out the fact that no one on the jury, to our knowledge, is even remotely Asian. It's just white and blacks. And yet you have people getting mad at Asian people for something they didn't do, while not even getting angry at all, from my knowledge, at the black people who voted against Cyrus being an actual victim. And that Zach Choi is innocent. Well, also the white people, of course, they also did it as well. And so did the 2 undisclosed people, because they came to the conclusion that he's not guilty. So it's kind of like, y'all don't want to get angry at the black people too, or the white people for that case specifically. Y'all just want a hard stop target on the Asian people. And it's just kind of disingenuous, because y'all got angry when there's no black people on the Karmello case, but there's black people on the Zach Chow case, and it doesn't get brought up. It's kind of interesting, because y'all don't give a fuck. If it doesn't like push the narrative for y'all don't actually give a fuck about it. And of course, a lot of people who are using the Rick Chow thing, they're just using it to, be hateful towards Asian. That's really it, honestly. I think this is all I actually kind of have for you guys. If you guys do enjoy this type of content, like, comment, and subscribe. I ain't really got nothing else to say to y'all. I'm gonna see y'all. Would my co-host say goodbye as well?
Yeah, you basically you basically did most of the talking for me here, but
I
yeah,
did.
peace out, y'all.
Yeah, peace out.